The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business. Right here in Central New York. The Local Show is locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Back into it and back at it. You've got The Local Show with Tom and Steve. Thank you for joining us. We're having a grand old time, and we hope that you are too. And hopefully you didn't have too much storm damage or anything like that. Now that you're apartment dwelling, you don't have to worry about that, Steve.
No, it's wonderful.
Yeah.
The people
they just clean up around you.
I have people. Yeah. They chlorinate the pool. They clean the fitness center that I never go to. You know, they cut the lawn. They do all of those things, and it's perfect. I drive into the garage. It's a glorious thing. Judy and I like it a lot.
You're being taken care of. That's good.
They wash your car too, Steve?
Yes. No, that's Delta Sonic. Yeah.
Delta Sonic. Okay, sure.
They'll do that. Well, we've got a new guest to the show, and we were just reminiscing on all the people that we know in common and all that. But it's Scott Jones, folks, and Scott Jones is the owner of Northside Collision. Has been the owner for a little while. How are you there, Scott?
I am better than I deserve to steal a term.
I know who you stole that from.
Great, man. Great. Yeah, so I know that you're a local guy because you went to high school with my wife.
Yep.
So where'd you grow up? What's on town?
I was a Valley boy.
Down in the Valley.
Down in the Valley, yeah. Warrington Road, West Warrington
Oh, you were
Road.
on Warrington.
Yeah,
okay,
man.
I didn't even ask you that.
Yeah, right on Salina.
Yeah, right. Warrington. Let me see. Vinny Martinez used to live down there. Do you remember that name?
I don't remember Vinny, no.
Yeah,
Here come the Valley stories. Soon we'll hear Green Hills and other things.
Of
so
course.
Go ahead.
But Scott, do you remember when, because, we're around the same age, do you remember when the creek flooded? And the creek overflowed, and it was just like all through the vally and all through the backyard.
What happened? Did you jump in, Tom?
Yeah, it was bad. It was some serious rain.
Friends, right?
Yeah, it actually filled the water filled up the bays in Green Hills.
Okay. Yeah, I remember swinging across that thing with the willow trees.
Right.
That was the best, man.
Yeah, a lot of willow trees down there. We had a big one. Anyway, so Scott, tell us what's your journey? How did you get into Northside, and how long have you owned it for?
So. Oh, boy, that's an interesting, boring story. Did well in high school, went to college, University of Buffalo for electrical engineering. My dad and I were building print circuit boards when I was a kid.
Nice.
I was really interested in all that stuff. But unfortunately, I majored in fraternity while I was there.
Yeah.
Learned a lot about recruiting and fundraising, your keg parties, et cetera.
Sure.
Became president of the fraternity in my second semester. And after the third semester, Mom and Dad said, well, that's not going to get you gainfully employed, so you got to come home. And I'd worked for my uncle in the body shop for a couple of summers.
Okay.
Needed a job. He needed a guy that knew computers back then. Computers were these big, huge monster things with green screens. And so I went to work for Gary, and I just kind of loved it. He was a great mentor. He kind of let me do what I was hungry. I wanted to do stuff,
So Gary was the original owner?
Gary was the original owner.
Oh, okay. And he's your uncle?
He's my uncle.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. Yep. He had a partner at that time. Chuck was a great guy. He was a genius with repairing cars. And as any partnership goes, it's kind of like a marriage. Sometimes they don't work. Sometimes they do work.
Yeah.
And he and Chuck split. And a couple of years later, Gary and I teamed up to do our first store together. That was our Cicero location, about 12,000 square feet.
Wow.
And then we built it together up to 5 locations over the years, all over town. I mean, I'm born and raised. It's my town. I love Syracuse, and same with Gary. And then he retired in 2018. God bless him. He's kind of shown me the way.
Right.
He's got a place in Florida and a place up here, and he bounces back and forth. In fact, he and I are having coffee here in a couple of days. And that's my journey. I got into the body business kind of accidentally, and I fell in love with it.
Accidentally.
Right. Yeah. Well, I get it.
Right?
Yeah.
Fuck that.
So how many stores do you have? How many locations? Not stores, but repair centers.
Yeah. So we're up. Let's see. We just picked up another one last year, and we just cllosed on actually the old Sam's Auto.
Oh yeah, I remember Sam.
You guys may remember
Sam Vigliotti or Vigilati or
Sammy,
I remember
Sammy,
it.
great guy. Yeah. One of the premier shops in Syracuse. Maybe fell in some hard times. Mm-hmm. So Sammy and I are teaming up to hopefully bring it back to its prior glory. So we just closed on that deal. So there's 9 locations. We got one is in Greece, Rochester, and then of course Sam's is the latest.
Yeah. So do you do mainly repair through insurance, or do you do any custom body work or anything like that?
Yeah, we're in the crash business. We repair crushed automobiles. Custom, that's a whole different game. It's a tough business. It costs so much to repair these cars and do them properly that no one's got the funds to really, the custom stuff is, you really want to find somebody that's working out of his garage that has a love for it. In fact, Gary's old partner Chuck was a genius with that stuff. Old Model T Fords he'd rebuild. And,
yeah. I see.
So people still get in accidents. It seems like somebody scratches a grocery cart, hits their car, and it's totaled these days the way they're made. Am I wrong?
You're not wrong. A lot of plastic, a lot of styrofoam.
Yeah.
All the new gadgets that we have, all the the ADAS, all the driving assists and the radars and the lidars. Those things just add tremendously to the cost of repairs.
Yeah. So a small crash is a significant repair bill.
It can be, yeah. We're one of the only shops in town that has the equipment to actually recalibrate those. It's a whole thing that nobody tells you about. I'm sure insurance folks don't. Nobody wants you to know necessarily, because most shops don't have the equipment. I mean, you're talking a huge bay and $100,000 worth of equipment just to calibrate a car. We've got 3 sets of that in our Camillus location.
So do you move vehicles from shop to shop depending on maybe the volume or the specialty of the repair? Is that a fair question?
Yeah, no, it's absolutely. We load level. One store is real busy, one's quiet. Obviously, we want to get your car in, get it taken care of as quickly as we can. So, we've got this guy, Jim Sophia. He's awesome. He's my tow truck driver. He drives our flatbed every day. And, he load levels even between Syracuse and now Rochester.
How do you handle people who need a vehicle while their vehicle is being repaired?
Man, I couldn't have written this thing better than these questions. We have loaner. I got about 150 cars in our fleet. We have loaner cars that we provide. If you've got rental coverage, we'll rent a car to your insurance company. In essence, won't cost you anything. If you don't have coverage, we put you in a car for free. Now, the challenge is having enough cars for everybody.
Yeah,
as you can imagine.
Tough.
We're running 1,500, 2,000 vehicles a month, and we're adding to the fleet.
I remember the cars from years ago because my wife has experience colliding cars, and they would have a Northside bumper sticker, and it was always like a Torres or something. It was always like this is
Datsun 210.
Years ago. It was, and I remember saying, okay, that's a loaner. Someone's getting their car fixed, because they were all kind of the same. They're kind of the same car back then.
Well, when we started, Gary and I got started. We were small. The cars we bought were probably the kind of car you'd buy for your teenage son or daughter.
Right.
Yeah. Sure. We've upgraded it.
Which makes sense, though. It's a loaner. You get around. Big question. Why should someone choose Northside?
Oh, my God.
And do you have a choice?
Well, of course you have a choice.
Do you? Okay.
Yeah, you can go anywhere you want. Most insurance companies out there will refer you to Northside Collision. Why? Because our reputation, man, we've been doing this a long time. We have a lifetime warranty. As long as you own the car, we've got the equipment. We spent over $250,000 last year just on training. Wow. I can tell you there's not another body shop or dealer anywhere, Onondaga County, Rochester, Buffalo, that spent that kind of money on training. We're playing the long game. I expect to be doing this for a long time.
And with 9 locations, maybe I get my car back quicker?
Yeah, no doubt about it. No doubt.
Because that's a consideration too. A lot of people, they don't want their car locked up for all that time, and even if you have a loaner car, it's inconvenient.
No,
it's interesting. You get these wrecks, and some of them are so bad. There's only a handful of people that have the skill set to repair some of these vehicles. And I happen to have most of them, in Onondaga County. It's just a real thing.
Do you look for people? Can people come to you looking for employment?
Oh God, yeah, okay. Of course, all the time. We actually, we had to shut down half of our stores during COVID. Because no one was driving. Right. And when we reopened. I reopened the Liverpool location as a school because I recognized that trying to pick people up from other stores is impossible.
So
we've got a group of kids, a couple groups of young people that we've run through. We're finding some young people that are great with their hands, that love working on cars. They're stellar.
So if someone gets a ding, give Scott a ring.
Yes. Let's go back a ways.
Northsidecollision.com, and they can take care of you, Tom.
Excellent. Thank you, Scott, and you have a wonderful day.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. I appreciate the time.
Kicking off hour number 2 of the local show, we're going to have a conversation with Sean Dupree. He's the owner of Top Notch Roofing. Jerome Snyder stops by, owner of Pestmaster Services. Luis Colon Torres is the owner of Luis Colon Torres Enterprises. That includes Guadalajara Restaurant. Stick around. Hour number 2 of the local show starts really soon.